What is up, Star Wars fans? Welcome to my reaction and breakdown for the official Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer. So we've already had a teaser trailer, we've had some stills come out that we've covered on the channel. We've been covering this every little bit of the way. Just in case you couldn't tell, I'm fairly hyped about this. But now we have the official trailer. So I'm expecting, and I think it's fair to expect here some slightly larger teasers. This is pretty big stuff. I haven't seen it yet, so feel free, if you want to skip past my reaction and get straight into my immediate thoughts breakdown. I can't wait to get into this. I don't really know what to say. All the words are rushing through my head right now because I'm really hyped to just see Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen come back to our screens, but in a post-Revenge of the Sith, pre-A New Hope placement in time, if you will. And we're about to see even more of that. So I'm going to shut up. Let's get into this, guys. And let's just hope that this isn't copyrighted, I suppose. Oh. I like that tempo of music already. Okay, Stormtroopers.
They're coming.
Grand Inquisitor.
Stay hidden. Obi-Wan will not survive.
Some familiar shots here.
Leave us alone. When the time comes, he must be trained.
Oh.
Like you trained his father.
Oh.
You still want Kenobi. He's gone.
Maybe you've been looking in the wrong places.
Oh, wow.
Every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him. You can't run, Obi-Wan! You can't escape him!
Oh. Are they actually teasing that he was before Vader there? Surely not. Oh, did we get little eyes? I swear, we've had that little end lightsaber thing before, but I feel like this time there's a little glow of eyes there. Right? Either that or I'm going crazy. I need to see that again. But wow, that was a good, tease. I mean, it was more than a tease because it was the official trailer, but we got some, actual, I can't talk. You can tell. But no, I think one thing fans, especially Vader fans, love to see in teasers like this is literally him kind of resting, whether that be in his kind of back to tank kind of, chamber, getting his arms and limbs, his, more machine than man aspects put back onto him and, getting down ready to do business. And that is to find Obi-Wan. Man, so many little juicy tidbits that we're about to get into. But let me watch this again. So, at the very beginning of the trailer, I think that Obi-Wan could be talking to, Uncle Owen, just genuinely saying maybe he's got wind somehow of hearing that the Inquisitors, as he says, they're coming. Stay hidden, or we will not survive. Now, he could be saying this to anyone, to be fair, but obviously Kenobi lives by himself. He looks over Luke. That's literally his only mission. This is a very kind of dreary state Obi-Wan is in. We've had that commentary from Ewan McGregor. He's practically given up. It's a very low point in time for him. It's kind of needless to say. So I don't know who else he would be talking to in a form of that kind of conversation. Stay hidden would be to, hey, Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru, and young Skywalker. Not that he's going to be saying that to little Luke, but you have to think that he's talking to him there. But as we know, Uncle Owen's opinion of the Jedi ways, as he says in this trailer, he's probably just thinking, like, just leave us alone, you old wizard. I don't want anything to do with this Inquisitor crap. If anything, you're the hot target here. You just stay away from us. You need to get away. And we've seen shots of the Inquisitors arrive to this local area, and initially we saw Reva face to face with Uncle Owen. So we know we're going to get that kind of confrontation, but we can also see not only do we have other Inquisitors there, but the Grand Inquisitor himself. And again, we've got teasers of that in previous trailers of where we got this shot that you're seeing on screen right now. But it's nice to get some slightly wider shots. That must be incredibly intimidating, having a, starship land, right in the middle of your town. And not only that, we have Inquisitors come out. And they're going to flex their lightsabers, as seen in other shots from the teaser trailer. So it's just cool to ramp up this trailer, this official trailer, with not only the way they're cutting it, I was a fan of that, but with the music, it's like every time it was a whom, like it was a new scene ramping up. You know, it's fantastic. I already love McGregor's expressions here because Uncle Owen is like, stay away. And he's just like, you know, when the time comes, he must be trained. You know, and it's just, it's probably instilled in him, even though the Jedi are long gone at this point, and, you know, God, the Empire's fist is felt everywhere, you know, stormtrooper presence and things like that. Obi-Wan is, you know, thinking this is the son of Skywalker. And younglings, you know, unlike Luke Skywalker later on, and even that of Legends, you know, you could get trained quite a bit older. But at this point, as you see when Obi-Wan's looking out at the moisture farm, seeing little Luke, he's probably around, maybe even a bit later than what is youngling age, and he's thinking when the time comes, he must be trained. He's probably wanting to think, hey, Uncle Owen, you know, if you're down for it, I kind of want to train him akin to what we used to do in a Jedi Order and start when they're young. To avoid even, probably in what his mind is, what happened with Anakin, because the Council back then in the Phantom Menace viewed that he's too old. You know, the boy is too old to be trained or whatever. You know, that's why they start them very young, so they kind of have little attachments. They're just taken and plucked from any kind of attachments in the world, and they only really know that of the Jedi way, and that's the kind of easiest way when training someone in the Force. And I'm guessing Kenobi is having that kind of line of thinking, and it's probably only an advantage to train the son of Skywalker anyway, even if it's just to protect himself. But obviously, as we see here, I really like this exchange. Owen, he replies, what, like, you trained his father? Like, yeah, look who he turned out to be, Darth Vader. So that's a bit of an L that Obi-Wan takes. So it's like, oh, shit, you have a good point. You have a good point. We then hear a voice say, you still want Kenobi? He's gone. I can't identify the voice right now. The subtitles aren't available on YouTube either. I mean, maybe I'm just going crazy and overthinking it, but you'd have to think that this is one of the Inquisitors saying, you still want Kenobi? He's gone. They're, you know, they're former Jedi. It's like, hey, you know, don't worry about him. But I'm wondering if that is the Grand Inquisitor saying that to Darth Vader himself. Don't forget that these Inquisitors are under the big man Vader. They follow his orders. So he is still wanting to find the guy who, you know, ended up getting him burned on Mustafar. So you have to imagine, or at least I'm assuming for now, do correct me if I'm wrong, if you have any other ideas, I'll welcome them down in the comments below, but it's like, you still want Kenobi? He's gone, and Vader's probably like, I'm not stopping till I find him. Like, I'm going after him. You better try and look for him. Or maybe, you know, this could be one Inquisitor saying it to another Inquisitor, because we do hear Reva saying, maybe you've been looking in the wrong places. Either way, they're discussing their mandate, like what they need to do, and that is find Kenobi. And who would that order be coming from? Like, other than their general order to find any Jedi and kill them, like, you know, carry on the work from Order 66. So I do want to acknowledge how Reva does, at least in this trailer, reply to that, but just want to make it fully transparent. As we're all aware, sometimes different lines from different parts of an episode or episodes are cut together in trailers to make it seem like one cohesive conversation. So she could just be saying, you know, or we've been looking in the wrong places, to another part of a line referencing Obi-Wan. But we, you know, across this trailer, as you're seeing, get multiple shots at the different locations and planets we're going to. Obi-Wan in the desert. Also, the Inquisitors, I believe this is them being dispatched to different locations, possibly. Not only Tatooine, but the new planet Daiyu, I believe it's called, which is the very kind of city-looking planet. Not quite Coruscant, obviously, a little bit low tier than that, but a lot of that planet has been featured in both trailers now and the stills that they've put out. I love this shot where it looks like there's a bounty on Kenobi, because at this point in the show, I think clearly they've got some kind of intelligence. They must do to come to a town on Tatooine, which is a whole planet close to Kenobi. So at this point where we see what I believe is a bounty here, it's probably at that part where Kenobi has fled Tatooine. At that point, the Inquisitors really probably have caught sniff of what's going on with him. They might have even had a line of sight on him, but he manages to get away. I don't know. But then it gets to Daiyu, of which this could be where they're putting a bounty. Any information on this man, and I love how it's his look from Revenge of the Sith, because obviously that's, you know, the last public time that the Jedi were seen, you know, before Order 66, so they will have a good image of him at that time. It just makes sense. Look, if you're snuffing out Jedi because you're an Inquisitor, what are you going to do? I offer anyone some Imperial credits to snuff out this guy and grass him up to us, and then we'll find him. I mean, after all, you know, we do hear Reva saying, I want every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him. So maybe a little bit of a Kenobi John Wick situation. You know, when John Wick had like every bounty hunter coming after him and he was in like the city and like you just had him constantly on the run. I'm not saying it's going to carbon copy that, but I do love the idea that Kenobi on Daiyu could be going from maybe cantina to cantina, street bit. That's where we see him cloaked up, because he is having a rough time. He might enter a new place. Someone looks at him like that, and then like it's just constant barraging, constant trying to get a gasp of air, ultimately perhaps until the point of where he could be brought before Vader. But I'm still really up in the air about that. How are we having this Vader fight? Because people are saying because of the line in episode 4 and things like that, did they really meet before that? If they did, how would a young, powerful Vader let Obi-Wan escape his grasp and return back to Tatooine? You know, with that logic, why wouldn't Vader just go back there, like, since they're looking in the same place in this show? So, it's, you know, clearly something is going on here, and that's why people were speculating, is it just a dreamy kind of fight? Because how would he escape the grasp of a Vader at his prime? So for him to, you know, maybe come face-to-face with him, as they're kind of inferring at the end of this trailer, even though it could be a completely different shot, but, you know, the way it's cut makes it seem like he's been brought before Vader, because you hear the breath. It is still up in the air. I don't necessarily believe that final shot in the trailer is Vader right next to him, but I also then wouldn't be surprised if somehow Kenobi slips away, but then it still has to be questioned. When he, you know, goes back to his hut on Tatooine, why aren't they going back to Tatooine to look for him? I don't know. Like, God, I really am intrigued, and this is going to be a big point. I feel like I'm going to be fairly biased to this show in terms of an entertainment perspective, but the writing and how they're going to nail that in the can and make that work with all the Star Wars nerds out there like myself thinking, okay, so how are you going to do this with this connection from what we know already work? You know, how are they going to make that work in a believable way? It is always awesome to see a red lightsaber, you know, walking around like that. So where we see Reva there and a bunch of Imperials, you know, these stormtroopers. But yeah, we also then after that see Obi-Wan. I believe this is the transport that we saw him on in the first teaser. And here he's taken out multiple stormtroopers. So it's like he's maybe jumped off of that potentially. Or it could just be a whole other situation where Imperial stormtroopers have got to the point of, hey, call this in, because they suspected him of something, and then Obi-Wan has to and is forced to take matters into his own hands. And this is where the momentum could really be picking up. It could just be one of those suspicious moments where the Imperials are like, hey, you know, something funny, and then that just starts the domino effect. Like, okay, now these stormtroopers have been taken out, that somebody got a brief call of that, they're now investigating, Obi-Wan has to kind of be like, right, crap, got to get out of here, and then, you know, the Inquisitors are brought down to Tatooine, they're further investigating, someone might, you know, you can see how the need for escape to another planet like Daiyu might need to happen for Obi-Wan. We get a shot of Kumail Nanjiani as well, and he's looking like he's in some kind of Jedi attire, but really, I'm not saying he is. I'm not really sure who he is. I don't know if there's too much information on him, but I love that line from Reva saying, you cannot run, Obi-Wan, you know, you cannot escape him. And, you know, God, like, she probably knows, because Inquisitors are kind of forced to go from the light to the dark. I mean, sure, some might have been more willing than others, but this was explored in, you know, the video game Jedi Fallen Order quite well. But either way, she knows the might of Darth Vader. It's like, you cannot escape him. Like, he will be your end one way or the other, and eventually that kind of did happen in A New Hope. But she is, for now, kind of his right hand, I feel, other than the Grand Inquisitor, until he takes matters into his own hands himself, which it does look as though we're going to see. Get a shot of a cute little, like, handheld droid or whatever's going on there, but going off what I was just talking about, you can't escape him, and I think that could be where Obi-Wan's slightly getting away, and she's just really frustrated because she was this close. We see the mechanical arms being put on, you see the scarred tissue of Anakin's, you know, Vader's, if you will, arm up until where it was cut off. And you see Inquisitors walking around, again, some little bits of extra shots, Obi-Wan, but then the central command console that is plugged into Vader's or Anakin's very abs, you know, that like, you see how it slots in. The state he lives in is constant discomfort, as I'm sure a lot of you Star Wars fans are very aware, but now the fact that you see, like, how long those pins are that you're seeing on screen right now, that's inserted into, you know, it's kind of almost Matrix style, like in the back of the neck, but in the abs. That is, and when you hear that little kind of night vision-esque sound, a little, Brilliant. And then the breath, absolutely fantastic. And you have not Vader, Kenobi just kind of in this shot here, as if it is as though the way they've cut it makes it look like he's been brought before him. And I can't, you know, trailers are tricky, you know. It looks like, considering the way they cut it, you see what you're seeing on screen right now. He's getting put back together. Obi-Wan can't even really look up. And then eventually, he kind of looks up at whatever's in front of him. You could say, yeah, he's actually in front of Vader. And either way, it is looking more and more likely, you know, to not try and be a skeptic here, that they do actually come face to face. But I'm dying to know how he escapes him. And why he doesn't go back to Tatooine to look for him, when that's literally where he goes back to. I know I keep repeating that point, but my god, if this really is a moment that, as I'm looking at Obi-Wan on my screen right now, possibly looking at Vader in person, and in fact, it's, you know, I'm not saying this show's gonna be written amazingly well or whatever, but, you know, all of that aside, like, just the fact that I'm seeing it on screen again with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen there, I think they could do so much with this. What if, like, let's just assume this is that moment, he is getting put back together, but, like, his helmet isn't even on. I would almost prefer that, like, for sure. Put the helmet on in, like, 2 minutes' time and have him, like, intimidatingly, like, walk around as, like, Kenobi or whatever, right? But to see Anakin, that you wouldn't bring Hayden back necessarily unless you weren't going to see that scarred face. So if we get a... Oh, my God, I can imagine the scene. Just imagine this bit you're seeing on screen right now, and then you might see Vader there, helmet off, with most of his stuff on, the respiratory bit there, talking to Obi-Wan, looking at him, but you see Hayden's eyes, his hateful eyes at Obi-Wan. That atmosphere, that tension, that scene, I know this sounds really cheesy to say, but could mark Star Wars history regardless of how successful and well-written, whatever you want to say in the bag, this show is. There's going to be some epic moments for sure, and that's probably, that vision of what I just explained is probably my most top-wanted requested things, to just kind of see a helmetless Vader scene, and not just having the mask make eye contact with Obi-Wan in an intimidating way. Because we're going to get that. You know, Ewan McGregor's already said, I had Vader coming at me, and that was terrifying. But I'm talking about Hayden in full makeup, Revenge of the Sith makeup, basically, that he's been in before, looking at Obi-Wan. That'd be incredible. But guys, that is my breakdown for the trailer and my reaction, so I'm just dying to know what you thought of it down in the comments below. God, I'm so excited. Don't forget with that, we get 2 episodes on the release date. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed for the breakdowns and reviews coming with that. Do go ahead and like the video if you did enjoy it. I'd really appreciate that. And of course, links to follow me in other areas are in the description down below. But thank you so much for watching. Can't wait to talk more about Kenobi. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you, or should I say, may the Force be with you always. Take care, guys.